Hello and welcome back to another episode from the Studio Block server. My name is Weird and Bearded, and today we are back over at the trading hall. You may remember last week we were busy getting masons because this had been said in a recording session with myself, Spider, and Beast. Do you mind if I redo your masons?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
But that wasn't the only thing that we spoke about. Later on, we said this.
Just replace the masons that are in there with the new ones.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't put them in new spots. I will.
Okay.
I will deal with the ones that are there in a completely humanitarian way.
Fair enough.
They will go to live on a farm.
You can have them live here.
Oh, that could be really funny.
That would be really funny.
This is the villager retirement home.
Yes! And after poo-pooing the idea, because it was gonna be a pain, because we are far away from the house. So we're currently at 1370, 950. To get to the house, we would have to transport the villagers all the way over. Apparently, I've got my schematics mod turned on. All the way over to there, which feels close, but remember, we've got distant horizons on. That is a fair distance away. But we're going to do it. This episode, I have a plan. We're going to build a railway bridge to take the villagers from the trading hall over to the house. And not just to the house, because that doesn't feel special enough. Come on, Rockets, get me over there. We are taking them right up to the top floor. That's going to be our station. It's going to be a big job. So, I'm going to collect some resources. I've no idea what I'm going to need. And then I will talk you through the plan. There's 3 sections to what we're going to be building today. We're going to be starting off over at the future villager retirement home. Then there's the massive bridge. We'll get to that. And then, of course, there's the bit by the trading hall. So this bit, I know what I'm doing. The bridge, I have a design for, ready to go. That bit I'm going to have to work out to match the bridge. So we may as well start over here. And this should not take long. We're going to have them coming in here. No. They're going to come in here. The player is going to come in here. Then the player will leave that way. The empty minecarts will leave that way. The reason the player's there as well is just to make sure everything stays loaded as they move along. And then everything is going to be returned afterwards. So I'm going to start off, just to make this look a bit nicer. We need to take out these blocks. And then we'll replace those and fill the middle bit with glass. We'll do the same on the other side. Nice and simple. Oh no, I lost a bit of glass. This is... Oh, not painful. I thought that was going to be painful. So then we grab some rail. Let's do this bit first. Out to there. And then some powered rail going across. Then this comes 1 block further. And again, powered rail going across with an activator rail in the middle. And then we get everything activated. And in theory, them coming around this way, they should get thrown off. Onto the wrong side, and I just lost the minecart. That was silly. So, that middle lever, I'm just going to put a block down there and put the lever on top of the block. That will make everything work. And then it's on to the bridge. So we've got a long bridge design. It's going to come out... I mean, it's got to be a long bridge design. It's connecting these two bits. I've designed it, not an entire bridge. I've designed a straight section, and I've designed a curve that's going to be going around here. It cuts across the top of this. So we're going to have to dig some of this away. That's fine. There's another hill in the middle that we're also going to have to dig away a bit. That's also fine. Hopefully the bridge looks good. Because I've kind of designed one section, I'm just going to repeat it. I have no idea how many resources I'm going to need. I'm going to figure that out as I go. But also to make this work, I've had to do some tests because a build like this would be great for the multi-web time-lapse system, which is a phrase I just came up with. But of course, we're going to have some webs all the way over there, some all the way over there. So I did a little test earlier. I actually went over to my buried treasure build. My buried treasure build is 50,000 blocks away. I did a little recording of me putting down some blocks. I then dug up those blocks. I came back over here. I played back the recording and it played. I went back there and the blocks were placed. So I know that the recordings will play even if they are outside of my render distance. So hopefully we can get this whole bridge built. And yeah, they're just going to come in around here, go straight into the hill. And that's where we need to build the other bit. It's going to be a long build process. It's probably going to take the majority of this week, but it's going to be a fun time-lapse. So I'm going to get to work on the time-lapse now. Yeah, nothing really else for me to talk about. Oh, hello, Creeper. I don't have my sword on me. That feels like a bad idea. I'm really happy with the bridge. It works great, especially with distant horizons, just seeing it go off into the distance and then going across to the villager retirement home. The time lapse could have been a bit better. This is a new system we're working on. We're refining it all the time, figuring out how to make it all work, but it still wasn't terrible. I'm still really happy with that. There is one change we're going to be making to the build, because there is a change I had to make because of our current setup. These sides were originally going to be made out of copper. That was in the design. And then I suddenly realised while I was building it, we don't have a copper farm. This is a big build. I'm not going to collect that much copper. So, once we get to a point where we do have a copper farm, that is going to all be replaced. And I'm just going to let it rust. I quite like the idea that over time, especially for something this big, it's going to take a long time and it will just slowly rust. But we still have to do the station at this end. And that's going to be an interesting one. So we've got to dig into the mountain, go down some distance. I need to figure out how this is all going to work. We're going to have some redstone involved down there. We've got to make sure the minecarts are coming up and going down properly. And we're very much going to be focusing on function over form. I'm not going to worry about how this looks, simply because this is going to be connected to the trading hall, which is connected to Spider's base. So this becomes part of Spider's base. So we've spoken about this already. Spider's going to do the decoration because I have my style of making things look okay, and Spider has her style of making things look good. So we're just going to focus on making all of this work. So I think I'm going to get the area dug out, probably get the rails down to the bottom, maybe. And then we'll talk about how this is going to work. Maybe I'll have all the redstone down there and we can do a test. And then this will be finished, assuming the test works. So I'm going to get digging. I don't know if I'll bother with the beacon. I'll find out how low they are. I'll come up with a plan. See you in a bit. Well, I have been busy. We have an area dug out. As I said, we're not going to do any decor stuff. We'll wait for Spider. Maybe even do that together. Probably going to be a nicer idea. I have also realised I don't actually have an entrance and exit to this place. I've just been going up and down the stairs each time, but we can deal with that later. What I have done is some redstone, fairly basic redstone. So what we have is you press a button here. It is going to go into this comparator cooldown system. Once it goes into this, we have an output. You can ignore the torch for now. So while this is cooling down, we're going to have a full strength output pushing forward this block into this repeater clock. And then every time it goes round, it sends signal out to this piece of rail. So it takes a few minutes to get around the entire bridge. May as well have a small stack of minecarts and have one of them go off a bit at a time. I don't know how many we're going to have. I haven't actually tested the system yet. Then, when the signal turns off, this torch will turn on, sending a brief signal to this rail where the player will be sitting. So, let's do a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not 9. I assume that one went off. I wasn't actually paying attention, to be honest. So we get 9 flashes over there. And then, yeah, we do get this one going off over here. So we'll have a stack of 9 minecarts here, which should be plenty. And then the player will be sat in this one when they press the button. But we have a secondary issue. Because we've got the big corner, and around the outer edge, I couldn't get enough powered rail in for an empty minecart to get all the way around. Because obviously, If a minecart has an entity in it, it has more momentum, so it can travel further. An empty minecart won't travel as far without being powered. So then we've got another bit of redstone up here where the villagers go. Where we, very simple, we have a tripwire that will activate this track. Oh, I can close that up. So any empty minecarts will just travel underneath and they will get sent back onto the pile. And any ones with a villager will rotate the tracks so they can continue on the journey. In theory, this will all work. Let me go and grab 9 minecarts. We also need one for the player, but I've got one in my inventory for testing purposes. I'll also probably clear out my inventory. Testing! Testing! Been on quite the journey since the last clip. We've actually already moved some of the villagers across. By accident! Because it didn't occur to me that when the minecarts fall down, if there is rail underneath them, they will just snap to the rail and they will all be one. So then I went to try to separate them, and I accidentally sent them all off. So then we had a load of villagers all together, so they couldn't get around the corners. It's been a journey, but hopefully now it will work because we've got the fence gate here. So the fence gate will briefly open, one minecart will fall down, and then get sent off. I also kind of want to see how long this takes because it feels like it's going to take a long time. I stopped the sun just because I don't know how long this is going to take. 9 villagers. Come on, we can do this. That's looking very good. That's looking very, very good. I'm liking this. I'm a little nervous that the minecarts might be too close together, so that when they're empty they might start to collide. We'll find out. We are approaching the retirement home. Hopefully this bit goes to plan. Hopefully there are no villagers upstairs that might try to get into a minecart. I should probably put some blocks in the way so that can't happen. That is, we have empty minecarts coming out. Okay, so we've had some bunching. I'm probably going to keep an eye on the minecart at the back, so I can see if it ends up going in the other direction. But we got through the station. We got through the station and everything is fine. I think the corner might cause problems with this bunching. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to need to mess about with the timings of this. But proof of concept, this works. I will see how many minecarts get in at the end. It looks like we've got 5 now. So it's just going to be a case of make sure there's more of a gap between them. And then things like this shouldn't be able to happen. I just realised I said I think there's 5. I did just miscount the minecarts. There's clearly 6 there. Here they all come. Let's go into free cam mode. Yeah, we've only got 6 there. So there's 3 stuck on the corner. I'm going to go retrieve those, mess about with the timings a bit. Hopefully we can get this fixed. So as we head into this final experiment, that is all we have time for this week. I don't really know why the first 2 minecarts have villagers in them. That is something I need to figure out. But for the rest of this test, that was definitely a success. So, like the episode. If you like the episode, let me know down in the comments. What do you think of doing these bigger scale time lapses? Hopefully next time I get more of an idea of how to do them. Subscribe if you haven't already. My name is Weird and Bearded, and I will see you all next time.